Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another pre-market live stream here today. So thank you guys all again for joining in, as always. So today, I do believe it should be another pretty good day. Ooh, stream's a little glitchy. Is it picking up? Is it good? All right, should be good now. Okay. All right, sounds good. Everything's good. Awesome. So, real recap on yesterday. Yesterday turned out to be a very good trading day for myself. Was able to take 3 trades, end the day up about $3,400. First trade was a short play on Restoration Hardware. Second play was an attempt at a small bounce reversal on AMD, in which we ended up exiting pretty quick for like a $200 win. And then ended up taking AMD short once it started breaking down some pre-market level supports. We took it short, nailed that one. So all in all, really good trading day yesterday in the live trading room. All right, so yeah. So anyways, we're going to be looking at the stocks in the headline of this video. So there's not a whole lot of earnings plays that look great today. So I'm only going to mention one stock here as in terms of earnings plays. And I can say once again that it seems as if my scanners are being a little weird again. So I'm not quite sure if I can, I won't be able to, yeah. So scanners, once again, starting to be a little weird on me, which is okay, but 1 second. Here we go. Anywho, so yeah, so for whatever reason, my up gap or scanner isn't loading right, so I haven't been able to present them to you guys as I would like to. So once Trade Ideas kind of gets their situation figured out, my scanners are up and working again, then we'll go back to presenting them as we used to just a couple days ago. So anywhooser, good job riding DLTR for a swing. I like it, PB&J. Anywho, let's flip to the next screen and get into it as we usually do. All right, so let me pull this down. Take that guy off. Take off news and level 2, and then we go like that. Oop, wrong one. There we go. That's the one. All right, guys. So let's see. All right, so first one on the watch for me is going to be CLRD. So I'll talk here about, where is it, CLRD? CRLD. What? Really? Hold on. CLDR? That's what it is, CLDR. So I put it in the headline wrong, that's why. So anywho, so if we look here, CLDR, okay, so CLDR is going to be one of my main watches in terms of earnings plays today. There's a few other ones that maybe I'll briefly show you that might be okay, but in terms of stocks with earnings plays today, this was the one that I like the most. So this is probably where I'm going to focus most of my attention today for stocks with earnings plays. All right, so CLDR gapping up from after hours about $14.50 all the way to a high of $17 pre-market. So pretty decent gap up in terms of how much the stock costs, right? The stock costs like $14, 15, 16 bucks, right? So a $3 gap, $3 move on a stock, you know, that only costs about 14, 15, 16 bucks that's a pretty good move, right? This is the kind of thing where you can get a lot of shares and you can make a good chunk of money on a small move, right? So good morning, guys, right? So CLDR is going to be the main one. Before we get into the intraday chart and start talking here, I want to look at this yearly chart so you guys get an idea, right? So last time CLDR had earnings, it was priced around 22 bucks, right? $22 a share. Last time it had earnings, it gapped down from about $22, $21 all the way to a low of 14. So the last time it gapped down on earnings, and it gapped down like $8 a share. Once it gapped down $8 a share, it only opened up and ran to the downside about $1 a share. So after that $8 gap down on CLDR, it only had about $1 move to the downside once the market opened. So that makes me think today, how much could I expect CLDR to move? $1, $2, right? So right now we're playing the game of how much money or how much value do we think CLDR could move today? I personally think it has a stronger potential for more than $1 move today because of a couple things, right? Last time CLDR gapped down, it gapped down like $8 a share. That's already a big gap down before the market opened. Secondly, if you were to look at the yearly chart, the last time it gapped down, or is that enough? Yeah, so the last time, actually I had to go a little bit further than that, 3-year chart, I think. Or no, oh, yeah, that's it, right? So last time it had gapped down on earnings, right, it kind of gapped down to a 52-week low. So at that point, it was already really, really beaten down. It already dropped very, very significantly. So to expect a whole lot of downside potential after an $8 drop into a 52-week low, right? People probably seen that as a good time to start actually buying back up. So I think the kind of selling pressure just wasn't quite there. All right. Now, going into today's trading, we're gapping up, right, on earnings. So I think today it has more or a stronger chance of moving more than $1 a share on the day. So with this gap up, I know that if you look at this yearly chart or 180-day chart, CLDR has a pretty good resistance right at about $17. So if in fact CLDR can pop back up and get over $17, we could see a good push because there are definitely some short sellers that came in on CLDR around that $17 area where I have this yellow arrow, right? They came in, started shorting it. And today, they're waking up and like, whoa, they might start covering. So I think we have a good chance at seeing CLDR see a good push to the upside today. So let me zoom in here on this chart. So you can see here by this chart, right, that I have kind of a few levels mapped off. I have the $16 level marked off. I have the $16.50 level marked off, and then the 17. Over $17 is where I think we could get a fast, obnoxious push to the upside if there are some short sellers that kind of have some stop losses in place around that area, right? And then the range that I think we could definitely see CLDR trade in is going to be from 16 to 17. So we're definitely, I think we'll see that range of trading from 16 to 17, which is the dollar value move we're referring to. But if it can get over the $17 mark, then I think we could see possibly 17.50s or possibly 18. Give me the crystal ball and I'll tell you, but I don't know for sure. But I know that around that $17 area, we might start seeing some volatility come in, right? So looking at the intraday chart, for me, CLDR, it's already kind of holding a good support. So this is one where I'd see that we might have the old, we have an earnings play pop up, and then we see it dip, and then it just goes for a bounce, and it starts running out of the gates kind of deal. So looking for a little bit of a pullback maybe out of the gates, a little bit of a sell-off, then we'll be looking to get in long on CLDR today. All right, so definitely keep your eyes around that $16 mark to see if it drops to 16. If it gets bought right up off of 16, we'll see how it acts there, okay? So moving forward, so that's enough there on CLDR. I'll read some comments here. Let's see. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Let's see, Captain, you heard of RH Trader. So hold on, let me get a sip of this coffee. Next thing on the list will be we'll talk about AMD here. So AMD had a really big sell-off yesterday. It was well needed, okay? Very well needed. Now, if we look at this 180-day chart on AMD, it appears that it's getting a little weak, right? So you remember the last time AMD had that drop just recently? So look back to here, right? So remember that last time AMD sold a really good sell-off in the day, and then the following day, it ended up falling more. I anticipate that's probably what we're going to see today, something similar. I think that if we see AMD drop below, excuse me, let me get into a closer time frame. I think if we see AMD drop below, oh, hold on, let me go back and do that. What is this price? 28.32. So if AMD can get below this 28.32 level, I think we're going to see AMD go for another sell-off. So I will be watching AMD short today. It's had a very good run up. It's been on a strong bull run. A lot of people have been looking to short the stock, wondering when's it coming down, when's it coming down. Yesterday was a very big bearish push to the downside. Then they're shortly recovered with the bounce, but that bounce still created a lower high, okay? So today I'll be watching AMD short only if we can start getting below the $28.32 level, okay? So for me personally, going to be watching AMD short with a first target of probably 28.07 and then following each kind of 50 cent, 25 cent mark thereafter on AMD. So won't cover too much more there on AMD, but I do feel we're going to be seeing a bearish move to the downside today on AMD. But again, it's been tricky and it's faked me out multiple times in terms of my analysis. But I think we are getting to that area where it's just ready to pull back and start giving some opportunity to the short sellers. Yeah, I know. I have the stock wrong in the title there. I got to fix that. So that is AMD, right? So just watching AMD, it looks pretty bearish. It looks like it wants to kind of to move lower. Next one on the watch list will be NVIDIA. Watching NVIDIA here. So NVIDIA is kind of one that I think just needs a healthy pullback before it can really keep pushing higher. So I just have this idea and thesis that today we're going to see somewhat of a wash on NVIDIA. Because it's been going up for a while and we've had this strong bullish push over the past like 2 weeks on AMD. It seems like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. So for the past 2 weeks, we've had this strong straight upward push on NVIDIA. So if I look at this 180-day chart, the 180-day chart is what it looks like to me is showing me something like this, where we popped up. We just had a sharp pullback. Today, we're probably going to do like a small little intermediate pop-up, and then we're going to pull back even more, probably down to even possibly the 270 area to retest some of these previous highs, right? So if we zoom out a little bit here, it's safe to draw yourself kind of this flat flat support line right over the highs back from a couple months ago around 270. And if we see NVIDIA have a good sell-off and a good wash day, it's not naive to think we could see this have a day all the way down to 270 just to at least retest these previous highs. And that's what needs to happen. That's what makes the stock healthy in terms of bringing in buyers. Because if we see it roll over, come back down to test previous support areas and hold, then it means there's potential for the stock to continue higher. But when stocks get too high and they're popping up, people get scared to keep buying because they're nervous of the sell-off. This sell-off down to 270 could, if it happens, right, would make sense that it still wants to go higher if it can hold a support there. So to me, it appears that NVIDIA has a little bit of a rolling over pattern to it. It might just get bought right back up, you know. So for me personally, I'm going to be looking to short this around the $280 mark. So if it pops to 280 and fails, that's where I'll start looking to add more in short. I currently am holding 50 shares short from pre-market, negative on the trade, probably about 100 or so bucks. But if we can see this start rolling over, rejecting $280, then we're probably going to move lower to test somewhere around 275 or 270 before we continue the move to the upside, right? So, so anywho, that is going to be NVIDIA for you. Now, the last one on my watch list will be Netflix. So I haven't talked about Netflix in a while. I missed Netflix's big sell-off yesterday. So the only reason I'm really mentioning Netflix today is simply because it had a pretty good bounce, in the beginning of towards the end of the morning, around 10:40, 11 o'clock, had a strong bounce. It bounced all the way to $350. Then it came sliding back down to bounce off of the price of $340, and now it's all the way back up close to $350. So today, I would personally still be watching Netflix short bias, and I think there could be a good play to get in short around the $350 mark. So for me, I'm personally watching to see if Netflix will get up to $350. So far, it's not really pushing higher. It's starting to do a sideways consolidation, which makes me start to think that we've seen it hit $350 yesterday and then come back down. So today, we know $350 is resistance from yesterday, but it's starting to just kind of shy away from $350. So it might not even want to get to $350 in the first place. So for me, I think today could be a good day to trade like a small, quick trade on Netflix, maybe shorting around the $350. But I wouldn't, you really got to get some confirmation before trying to short it, because Netflix could very well pop to $350 and then push over $350. I've seen moves like that before. $350 is not a super strong resistance in terms of, long-term resistance, but intraday, it's pretty strong. So I think $350 is going to be a good level to watch for a potential short play on Netflix, right? So, and also do know this, that Netflix bounced from $340 to $350, then came from $350 down to $340. So today, you might expect that range to get even smaller. So we might have moves from like $348 to $342, right? Not that full range from yesterday. So do keep that in mind as well going into your trading day today. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes my watch list here for the day. Let's see what we have here. ZS. Okay, I will mention ZS. ZS was one stock that had earnings that I was considering trading, but didn't know how I felt about it earlier. And it still kind of looks a little iffy to me, but I'll keep it on watch for a short. I will say this. I'll keep ZS on watch for a short. It has proven that the last time it had earnings, it could run. So like the last time ZS had earnings, it gapped up and then it ended up pulling back a little bit. So it's full movement on the day when it had earnings. Was this last time? No, not last time, but a couple times. I'll talk about that one too. It ended up moving from 35 to a high of 42. So it ended up moving $7 a share that day. The last time it had earnings, it didn't really gap too much. Let's see, it probably was hesitant, gap down. So it had a move from 41 to 45. So the last time it had earnings, it had about a $5 move. So I do think that ZS has room and a chance for strong volatility and movement. I'm just not crazy about how the chart looks right now with the amount of volume, but I would say ZS is a strong one to watch, and I will actually have that on my watch list. I just didn't mention it in the first place, but now looking back at it, I think it'd be a wise decision to keep that one on the watch list as well. Okay. Let's see. Juan, so for those of you tuning in that might be interested or have any questions, I'll do, I got to get going here in about 4 minutes, but I'll touch on this. So for anybody that doesn't know just yet what I do and the things I operate, outside of YouTube and, outside of my own trading, we do have a trading course, a trading team, a chat room, a live streamed trading room. So we got a lot of tools surrounding a trading group, essentially. But we do run and operate a trading course and trading room and things like that. It's $30 a month to join us, and that includes a whole trading course, weekly classes 2 times a week where you can hop in and ask us questions, and we're going to go over different topics. We teach you about level 2s and time and sales, and basically anything you guys have questions about that we can assist you on. And then we have our own chat room, things like that. So the service we provide is $30 a month, and then everything you get for that cost is ideally the most you can get on the. It's the best price, and you get the most for your money anywhere on the market. And that's kind of the go-to movement that I wanted to start for myself and for our team member, was to create an affordable stock trading course and environment that you can join in to learn the ropes of trading, because a lot of people don't necessarily have tons of capital to even trade with, and then to expect them to spend a lot of, or if not majority of their capital on an education doesn't really make it very easy for people to get educated to learn how to trade in the first place. So I always looked at that as like a big catch-22, and this huge stigma in the trading world is that most of the education and services provided are so darn expensive that it doesn't really make it logical and feasible for the average person to get the correct education in the first place before they even try to start trading. So that's kind of what we tried to push here. So I will state that our $30 a month and all that cost, it is by far like one of the most cost efficient and cheapest educations you can get in terms of trading for the amount of tools, value, and experience you get with that. So anyways, to cover it up there, I got to head out here back to the private group, right? When I end here at 9, I go straight into our private meeting with our private members, right? So for those of you that might be interested or have any more questions, just want to read up on it, it's the first link in the description. That's where you can go and check out our website, sign up. But even before doing that, right? Like not sending you the sales pitch, before I even suggest going to our website and signing up and paying money for something you don't even know for sure that you might want to do, you still might be on the edge. What I recommend doing first is joining our chat room. We have a free version in our chat room, a free section where you can hang out. That is also in the link of the video. That way you can just involve yourself with other traders that are free members that don't pay any money. They're just there hanging out and doing their thing. And that will also give you access to, myself here and there, and then some of our premium members. And then I'd highly suggest talking to our current premium status members that are in the private group, because they will be able to give you the best non-bias insight into our trading room and our course, and then you can hear their thoughts on what they think and how they feel about what it is that we offer at Boiler Room Trading. And that's really the approach I would take first. That way you can feel comfortable knowing that you're spending your money towards a good cause and something that will be of value to you, right? So anyways, guys, we will start it there. I will talk to you guys tomorrow morning for our next stream. Other than that, and actually, just so you know, I'm going to try to be on later today for a live stream, because we had a live stream not too long ago that discussed how I got started trading, some kind of tips about taxes, just tips in general that I've learned over the course of the years I've been trading. So today, I think around maybe 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock, I'll be hopping back on live here today. So if you would like to join in, you know how to find me. But I'll be jumping on live again to discuss how it is I got started, some of the things that I had to do to kind of get to where I am, a lot of the things I've learned that really come through experience that can't really be taught, just so you can hear it from my perspective. That way you can also get on a more of a personal level with me, know who I am just beyond this room and the trading side of things. So I will see you guys all later today, probably around 1 or 2 o'clock. So other than that, stay green, and I'll see you guys here shortly.